County Health Department, the lead food program sanitarian, Shawn Monroe. Hi, Shawn.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm doing well. First time here and I'm very excited for it.
Well, we're very excited to have you here. And you know, everybody loves to eat, and one of the things I think we all count on is that the restaurants are going to be safe, and it's up to you. It's your job to make sure that these facilities are open and safe.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, and I think that you know, sometimes the general public doesn't realize the extent of what these food service operators have to do in order to keep from getting people sick. So Foodborne Outbreak is a huge thing, and we've had a couple of them statewide recently that have gotten a lot of people sick, so it is very important.
Yeah, and I think restaurants, nobody wants their name splattered across the news as a source of everybody getting diarrhea.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And you know, these days it's a lot different because social media, I mean, one bad post on social media can really ruin a small business. So they have an obligation for themselves as a business, along with you know, protecting the public. So
how often are restaurants inspected?
Typically every 6 months, unless they're seasonal, then it's one time a year. But typically every 6 months, we have the opportunity to go in more often if you know, if we do see some issues in those facilities. So
and there's restaurants that operate even, I guess, in more limited time frame, and that's a food truck or like a pop-up at like a church festival. You inspect those places too? Absolutely.
So there's, and that's been a huge push, especially this year and last year. A lot of people are going, instead of brick and mortar places, they're getting food trucks. What their food service license for their food trucks allow them to do is to travel throughout the entire state of Michigan. So that is one nice thing with those, but we do inspect those twice a year as well. So they are getting inspected, but yeah, they can do any of these festivals that are going on, and we see a lot of them. Jackson County has done an excellent job of promoting food trucks, along with temporary events. If someone wants to sell hot dogs or whatever on a weekend, they can get a temporary permit to be able to serve. So,
but you've got to inspect them before they can.
That's right.
And there's surprise inspections too, aren't they?
Yeah, so restaurants, they are surprise inspections. The food trucks actually request their inspections, so they actually have kind of a leg up in that aspect. But same with temporaries, we go out the day that they're going to be serving, so we do, those aren't surprise either. What
are some of the things you're looking for, and I guess what are the most common violations that you see?
Yeah, so hand washing, employee health, and hygiene, that's the #1 cause for foodborne outbreaks. Hot and cold holding foods, food contact surfaces. We're looking for all those types of things that that could really hold bacteria and get people sick. So
yeah, so every restaurant in the restroom has a sign: employees must wash their hands. I think the sign should say everyone must wash their hands.
Absolutely.
It's like just the employees. We don't care.
We don't care about
I mean, the customers are going to be touching stuff, and yeah. So really, employees not washing their hands.
Yeah, and the thing too is people tend to put on gloves in kitchens and think that that's the safe bet for everything. I can touch anything now, but nope, wash your hands. That's the main goal for this.
So what's the rule about what gloves are used for? Is it, so we see people, you know, making a hamburger behind the window, they don't have gloves. Are they supposed to have gloves?
So anything ready to eat you have to have some sort of barrier, whether that be gloves or tongs or something. But if someone's making, like prepping a pizza and then it's going to go into a 500-degree oven, they don't have to wear gloves. But yes, if they are assembling a burger that's going to be handed to the customer and ready to eat, they do have to wear gloves.
Now, do you and your wife, do you go to restaurants?
We do. I do live in Hillsdale County, but every so often we do go out to eat. But
well, that's good, because I was afraid you've seen so much that it just it's off-putting.
Yes, and I tend to not look in the kitchen when I go to places and just kind of keep my blind eye.
Yeah. So. But you will not let a place be open if it's not. If it's
Absolutely
not.
Not. Nope. And so if you see any restaurants that are open, yeah, some of them might have some issues, but we work with them for the most part. If there's anything that's an imminent public health hazard, we do not allow them to operate.
No.
So.
And you have the power, you can go in and you can shut them right down on the spot.
Yeah, we tend to, yes, we can do that. That's not the fun part of the job, though. Absolutely not. We want to keep people in businesses, but we also have to recognize that people have to be safe as well. So.
And is there a grading system? I see in some places, like in New York State, places, the restaurant will put a A+ in the window or A- or whatever. In North Carolina, they've got 92, 94. What kind of a system do we have here?
We don't have that anymore. We used to. We moved away from that to where it's a priority foundation, and core violation system, and we're actually moving toward more or less of a HACCP plan. So that's a hazard analysis critical control point evaluation. The grading system, it just doesn't. If someone gets a bad grade, we don't want to necessarily post that everywhere.
Yeah, really, because and I knew. The M Live, they used to post the things, but they were 6 months old.
Right.
And by that time, the restaurant corrected themselves, and then they get the bad publicity, and they go through all that.
Yep.
Yeah, just because it's, I was never a fan of that. I think it's really not fair. It's not fair.
That's right. Yep.
So hand washing is such a big deal, and I think with the pandemic, we've got better at it as a society.
We did. And I'm seeing it a lot more. I mean, we've kind of, everyone that I see now is just washing their hands whenever they need to. But yeah, and actually properly washing your hands as well. You can't just go put your hand underwater and wipe it off with a paper towel. So there's a whole process for that as well. So we kind of evaluate that as well to make sure that people are doing that properly.
Yes, Don Hedek from your Environmental Health Division, he's the director. He sent over these slides. And it's, what do they say? You sing the happy birthday song?
Yeah, yep. You can sing happy birthday or the Michigan State fight song, whatever you want to want to do there. But so 20 seconds from start to finish, from when you start putting water on your hands to putting soap and actually rinsing it off. That needs to be at least 20 seconds. And you need to scrub your hands. You can't just throw some soap on it and wash it off. So.
All right, what about paper towels versus the hand blower dryers?
They're both approved. There's not really a preference. The only thing is if you have a hand dryer in a facility, you can have them in bathrooms, but in a kitchen, you can't just because water's going everywhere. So you want to make sure that you don't have those inside a kitchen.
And I think, people have their own opinion that, well, you're blowing germs all over when you put your hands, but you've washed them.
You've washed them ahead of time, yeah. Okay. It's the same concept as well. We see it all the time, and it's actually not a violation, surprisingly. But if someone goes and washes their hands, and then they dry them off, and then they go shut the water off, well, technically you touch something that's already contaminated. But yeah, that's a whole other thing you have to think about as well. So the
door handle.
Door handles. Yeah.
Getting out.
Yeah.
There's like new toe plates on doors now.
Yes. Yep. Especially in bathrooms, I've seen those a lot. So.
And you've seen the bathrooms where there's a hand sanitizer station outside the bathroom.
Yep.
And if someone was watching, if you've come out of the bathroom and you're using hand sanitizer, you assume, oh, well, they're using that because they didn't wash your hands.
Right.
But one doesn't replace the other.
Absolutely not. So hand sanitizer, you actually have to wash your hands. It's good in between uses if you want to throw some hand sanitizer on, but that doesn't replace hand washing. You actually have to scrub your hands and use soap. So.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys keeping us safe.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate this.
Great to have Shawn Monroe, lead food program sanitarian with the Jackson County Health Department. More to come.